Hi, this is Jesse Johnson, VP of Marketing and Strategy for Paperclip Publishing. I am joined today by Lovern Gordon. Lovern, thank you for joining me.
I am happy to be here and glad you're having me. I grew up, thinking that would never be me. I would never let anybody treat me the way my father treated my mother. And unfortunately, I fell into an abusive relationship at the age of 21. I migrated to the States when I was 15. By the time I was 21, I had my, quote unquote, first serious relationship. I was in college, going to school at nights. I was working an entry-level job in corporate America. And for all intent purposes, I really had it together. I thought I was smart, and that, this kind of thing would never happen to me. Writing this book, being, 12, 13, 14 years removed from this relationship is now giving me an additional piece of voice that I really didn't know that I had. So I'm just really excited about this paperclip journey and where it's going to lead and who the book is really essentially going to help. But before you giving me that call, for many years in running the foundation and folks hearing the story a little bit over the years had told me and said to me in no uncertain terms, you need to write a book. And it just never felt right to me, and I wasn't ready, right? And so 6 months before you called me, that little voice in my head said, okay, Lovern, I think you're ready. And it just kept getting louder and louder and louder till I was talking to my best friend one day, and I said to her, listen, I think I'm ready to write a book. And I was speaking to her specifically because she's a writer. She's a published writer, and a really great one at that. And so, right. I said to her, I said, listen, when I decide to do this, not now, right? I want you to be the person that does this with me, or, to help me along the way. And she said, oh my God, just tell me when. And it just sat there and we left it there. And then another few weeks passed. And I said, you know what? When I do this, the name of it is going to be The Legacy He Left Me. Just like that. And again, it sat there for another, and then I called another friend and I said to her, I'm really thinking about doing this. And she was really the first one outside of my, inner circle, so that I said this to. And she was like, oh my God, you have to do it. And I love her also dearly. So, it was just like, okay. And then you called me literally about a week to the day from that other call and told me what your feelings were and told me about Paperclip. And right there, it just all made sense. And I'm like, yes, Jesse, yes, let's do it. It's uncomfortable. And not just with this issue. I think right now, the climate in the country today, not just with the virus, but the other pandemic that's happening right now with race, right? The underlying one that's been with this country for years. That's something that is uncomfortable, but it's leading to change. And it's the same thing with domestic violence. We have to keep talking, right? Not just in this space, not just with this book, not just with the foundation, but as a global unit, we have to recognize this is an epidemic. The Legacy He Left Me came immediately to me because of the path that I saw that was chosen for me way before I even had a choice. As I mentioned earlier, child witnesses to these issues tend to go on to be one of three things: victim, the abuser, or straight and narrow. And so not only did, my father sort of lay this path for me, but he also laid it for my siblings and I. And while I will not speak for them, I will say that we all witnessed this issue under the same roof. There were 5 of us all together. And each of us experienced this in a different way, and came away from it with a different thing. But we came away from it with something, right? And more than half of it was not positive. And so for me, I was the only one that became a victim.
Myself, the rest of the Paperclip team are excited for this. Working with a friend on this and kind of being step by step to this journey, Lovern, it means a lot.
Man, you have no idea.